Imagine stepping into a world where everything shimmers with luxury, where champagne flows like water, and the walls are adorned with art that costs more than most people make in a lifetime. These are the parties of billionaires, where the famous and powerful mingle behind closed doors. But beneath the glittering surface lies a world few know about. It's a world of whispered secrets, exclusive guest lists, and the untold realities that happen when the cameras are off. Today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal the dark side of billionaire parties. Girls. Since most billionaires are men, it's no surprise why there would be lots of women present. Billionaire parties are often seen as the height of luxury, where the richest of the rich come together to celebrate life in the most extravagant ways. These parties, filled with famous faces, fine wine, and gourmet food, offer a glimpse into a world most people can only dream of. But beneath the surface of this glamorous facade lies a darker reality that is seldom talked about. It's a world where women are often used and abused, where their voices are silenced and their stories go untold. Silvio Berlusconi, the former Italian prime minister, media mogul, and the owner of the Italian football club AC Milan from 1986 to 2017, is one such billionaire whose parties have been the subject of much scrutiny. Known for his lavish bunga bunga parties, Berlusconi's gatherings were notorious for their wild and hedonistic nature. Women were brought in by the dozens, often young and vulnerable, seeking fame or fortune, and mostly jobs at his media organization. These women were promised a night of fun and opportunity, but found themselves in situations where they were treated as mere objects of pleasure. These parties were not just places for dancing and drinking. Women were expected to entertain the guests with lap dance sessions, where the winner would have Silvio Berlusconi for the night to herself. Part of the party theme, the bunga bunga session, is a room where all the ladies are given the custom to dress like any politician or prominent person. Sometimes they dress like nuns, just to satisfy these billionaires in attendance fetish desires. And it's no surprise that well-being was often the last concern. Many reports have surfaced over the years detailing how these women were pressured into performing sexual acts and treated with little respect. Some women who attended these parties spoke of feeling trapped and exploited, with no way to escape the situation. And it's not just Berlusconi. Many other billionaires around the world have been accused of similar behavior at their extravagant gatherings. Another billionaire with a similar party attitude is Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was an American serial sex trafficker, pedophile, and financier. Through his successful financial career, Epstein became a multimillionaire and developed a social circle that included extremely wealthy individuals, prominent politicians, and even royalty. He was eventually accused of running a vast human trafficking operation in which he and co-conspirators procured women and girls for sex with himself and his elite associates. Epstein used his wealth and influence to lure young women to his private island and lavish parties. There, he and his powerful friends allegedly abused and exploited these women. Epstein's case brought to light the dark underbelly of the billionaire party scene, where wealth and power create a dangerous environment for those seeking a better life. These stories highlight a troubling pattern of abuse and exploitation in the world of the ultra-rich. Women who attend these parties often do so with the hope of networking, advancing their careers, or simply experiencing a taste of luxury. Instead, they find themselves in compromising situations, surrounded by people who see them as nothing more than a means to an end. Well, this is just the tip of the iceberg of what happens at these parties. The next one might have you sitting on the edge of your seat. Tones of illegal drugs. In the world of the super rich, truly the boundaries of reality are stretched to accommodate the whims and desires. One desire of billionaires in these parties, apart from girls, is the use of illegal drugs. One of the most extraordinary examples of this extravagant lifestyle occurred in 2007 when billionaire Henry Nicholas, co-founder of Broadcom, hosted a party that quite literally defied gravity. Nicholas, known for his larger-than-life personality and lavish lifestyle, decided to take his penchant for excess to the skies. He threw a party on his private plane, transforming the jet into a flying nightclub, complete with all the trappings of a typical billionaire bash, including copious amounts of drugs. As the plane soared through the sky, the atmosphere inside the cabin was one of unbridled celebration. Champagne flowed freely, and the guests, a mix of friends and associates, were treated to an array of illicit substances, including cocaine and ecstasy. The party, initially intended to be a luxurious and exclusive experience, quickly spiraled into chaos as the effects of the drugs took hold. Guests danced and partied in the aisles, oblivious to the potential dangers of their actions. The situation escalated to a critical point when the drug use became so rampant that the plane's pilots were forced to don oxygen masks to protect themselves from the narcotics floating through the air. This drastic measure was necessary because the drugs had been ingested and expelled into the cabin's atmosphere, posing a serious threat to the pilot's ability to operate the aircraft safely, and they had to put on oxygen masks to effectively fly the plane successfully. The pilots, tasked with ensuring the safety of everyone on board, found themselves in a precarious situation, caught between the demands of their employer and the need to maintain control of the aircraft. The incident aboard Henry Nicholas's plane is emblematic of the extreme lifestyles and cavalier attitudes that can accompany immense wealth. For the guests, the party was an escape from the mundane, a chance to revel in the freedom that money can buy. For Nicholas, it was an opportunity to push the boundaries of what is possible, to create a moment of pure, unadulterated excess that few could ever imagine. Well, Nicholas isn't the only billionaire who loves a wild and extravagant lifestyle. Adam Neumann, the co-founder of WeWork, became infamous, not just for his unconventional business practices, but also for his extravagant lifestyle. As WeWork rapidly expanded, Neumann indulged in a wild party life that included lavish events and private jet escapades. Reports surfaced of these private jets being transformed into high-altitude party zones, with Neumann and his entourage partaking in illegal drugs, such as marijuana and possibly other substances, during flights. The scenes on these jets were said to be nothing short of chaotic, with the planes often left in a state of disrepair. The aftermath of these airborne parties included extensive cleaning and sometimes even repairs, much to the frustration of the private jet companies. The aircraft, designed for luxury travel, were instead treated like party venues, leading to significant damages that went beyond the usual wear and tear. The upholstery was stained, interiors were trashed, and the strong odor of marijuana often lingered long after the flights had landed. Private jet companies, already accustomed to high demands from wealthy clients, found themselves dealing with a unique problem when it came to Neumann's flights. The damages caused by these raucous parties led to increased maintenance costs and downtime, which in turn affected the profitability of these jets. Some companies reportedly began to reconsider their willingness to accommodate Neumann's requests, despite the lucrative fees, as the costs and headaches associated with cleaning up after his flights started to outweigh the benefits. The fact that the pilots were forced to wear oxygen masks at these parties underscores the potential risks and consequences of such reckless behavior, not just for the hosts and guests, but for everyone involved. Another billionaire on this table is Alki David, a billionaire entrepreneur known for his lavish lifestyle and controversial behavior. He has been at the center of several drug-related scandals. His extravagant parties, often involving celebrity guests, have been rumored to feature the use of illegal substances such as cocaine and marijuana. In 2019, David was arrested for allegedly transporting over $1 million of cannabis products on his private jet to the Caribbean island of St. Kitts. Although David claimed that the products were legal hemp, he faced significant legal battles, highlighting how the use of substances by billionaire parties can lead to serious consequences. Spiked drinks. While most attendees are there to enjoy themselves, there are always a few with darker intentions. One of the most disturbing practices that have emerged is the spiking of drinks. This is where someone secretly adds drugs or other harmful substances to another person's drink without their knowledge, leading to a range of dangerous outcomes. At these parties, where the drinks flow freely and guests are often distracted by the spectacle around them, it's easy for someone to tamper with a drink unnoticed. The effects of these spiked drinks can be devastating, ranging from memory loss and confusion to unconsciousness and worse. For many victims, the night becomes a blur, with little to no recollection of what happened to them. Unfortunately, in such private settings, the chances of someone taking advantage of these situations are frighteningly high. One of the most shocking cases involving the spiking of drinks at a billionaire's party is linked to the infamous Jeffrey Epstein. Known for his connections to the rich and powerful, Epstein often hosted lavish parties at his various properties, inviting some of the world's elite. But behind the glitz and glamour, dark activities were taking place. Several individuals who attended these parties later reported that their drinks had been spiked, leading them to become disoriented and vulnerable to exploitation. For example, one woman recounted how she attended a party at Epstein's private island. She described how, after just one drink, she began to feel strangely dizzy and confused. The next thing she knew, she woke up in a room she didn't recognize, with no memory of how she got there or what had happened. Her experience is not an isolated case, as more and more stories of drink spiking have come to light, highlighting the dangers that lurk in these seemingly glamorous settings. According to reports, Nicholas would secretly lace guests' beverages with illegal drugs, turning his lavish gatherings into a risky and unpredictable environment. The revelations about his actions began to emerge as his behavior grew increasingly erratic, drawing the attention of both the media and law enforcement. Once his habit of spiking drinks was exposed, Nicholas became even more brazen in his drug use. Rather than retreating from the public eye or curbing his behavior, he openly embraced his illicit activities. At his parties, he not only indulged in drugs himself, but also began handing them out freely to guests. He even asked his party planners to stock his mansion with coke, ecstasy, and meth. The consequences of drink spiking are severe. Victims often struggle with trauma, anxiety, and the fear of retaliation if they speak out. You have to be very careful while attending these types of parties. Isolated locations. Imagine a sprawling villa perched on a cliffside, overlooking a vast, untouched coastline. This place is so secluded that even the nearest town is hours away by helicopter. The guests arrive under the cover of night, whisked in by private jets and luxury yachts, leaving behind the world as we know it. Here, in this isolated paradise, the rules of society seem to vanish. No one outside can see what goes on, and those inside are bound by a strict code of silence. One billionaire who exemplifies this use of remote locations is Richard Branson. The founder of the Virgin Group owns Necker Island, a private island in the British Virgin Islands. This island is so secluded that it's often used for exclusive events and retreats, away from the eyes of the public. On Necker Island, Branson hosts parties and gatherings where guests can enjoy ultimate privacy and do all the crazy stuff they fantasize about, shielding them from the scrutiny of the outside world. These gatherings are designed to be more than just extravagant parties. They're an escape from reality, a place where the rich can let their guard down completely. With this freedom comes a darker side. Adam Neumann, Henry Nicholas, and Silvio Berlusconi each also used isolated locations to indulge in their wild and often illegal party activities. Neumann, the co-founder of WeWork, turned private jets into airborne party zones, where he and his entourage indulged in drugs and debauchery, far above the prying eyes of the public. Similarly, Henry Nicholas, co-founder of Broadcom, used private airplanes as secluded spaces for his notorious parties, where drug use and erratic behavior were rampant, away from the scrutiny of the ground below. Apart from being 3,000 feet in the air, they hired contractors to build a warehouse that had hidden doors, tunnels, and an underground passageway. In contrast, Silvio Berlusconi, the controversial former Italian prime minister, preferred the privacy of his special mansion, Villa Certosa, for his infamous bunga bunga parties. This secluded estate allowed Berlusconi to host extravagant and often illegal gatherings, shielded from public view. These locations, airplanes in the skies and a secluded mansion, became their havens for excess. The secrecy of these locations allows them to hide their actions, no matter how questionable or dangerous they might be. Why go to such extremes? For these billionaires, it's not just about privacy, it's about control. By hosting their parties in isolated spots, they ensure that nothing leaks out. The outside world only sees the glamorous side of their lives, while the darker, hidden truths remain locked away. These remote locations act as a fortress, protecting their reputations and allowing them to live out their fantasies without consequence. Bribes and payoffs. To ensure the secrecy of their illicit activities, figures like Adam Neumann, Henry Nicholas, Silvio Berlusconi, and other billionaires often resorted to bribing their guests. Because if the information about what's going on at their party leaks, their reputation would be tarnished. These bribes came in various forms, from lavish gifts to direct financial incentives, all designed to buy silence and protect their reputations. Adam Neumann, known for his wild private jet parties, reportedly lavished guests with expensive perks, luxury accommodations, exclusive experiences, and even company shares, making it clear that discretion was expected in return. The understanding was simple: enjoy the opulence, but say nothing about what happened on board. Henry Nicholas, whose parties often involved drug use and other illegal activities, took a similar approach. Guests who attended his events could expect to be treated to extravagant entertainment and indulgences. In exchange, they were subtly encouraged to keep their experiences under wraps, with the implication that future invitations and rewards depended on their silence. In 2002, Nicholas gave one of his employees $1 million just to keep quiet. Silvio Berlusconi, infamous for his bunga bunga parties, often used his immense wealth and political power to ensure that guests remained tight-lipped. He reportedly offered guests large sums of money, gifts, and even political favors to secure their loyalty and keep the details of his scandalous gatherings from reaching the public. It was gathered that he gave out a whopping $11 million just to keep people from saying all the things that happened at his party. Well, for a man worth $6 billion, $11 million is like a drop of water in an ocean. Excessive display of wealth. The display of wealth at high-profile parties often reaches levels that many might find excessive or ostentatious. For billionaires, this can manifest in extravagant decorations, exorbitant expenditures, and other forms of ostentation that can appear almost as a form of competition among the ultra-wealthy. Such displays are not only a statement of status, but also serve as a form of social signaling, intended to showcase one's financial prowess and exclusivity. The Met Gala, an annual fundraising event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, is infamous for its extravagant displays. While not exclusively a billionaire's party, it attracts a high concentration of wealthy individuals and celebrities. In 2015, the gala's theme, China Through the Looking Glass, led to some of the most lavish and controversial displays. Attendees included billionaires like Alibaba founder Jack Ma, who, along with other guests, showcased outfits that incorporated elements of traditional Chinese culture, but were criticized for being culturally insensitive and excessively opulent. The event's grandeur, from haute couture outfits to extravagant decorations, underscores how billionaires use such platforms to project their wealth and taste. In 2021, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon and a notable figure in the space tourism industry, celebrated the launch of his space venture, Blue Origin, with a private party that highlighted his wealth. The event featured a lavish venue and high-profile guests, including celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio and Elon Musk. The extravagance of the celebration, including a high-end dinner and opulent decorations, drew criticism from many who felt that the display of wealth was particularly tone-deaf, given the backdrop of global issues such as poverty and climate change. Critics argued that such events underscore the disconnect between the ultra-wealthy and the broader societal concerns. Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, threw a notoriously extravagant New Year's Eve party at his private residence in the Caribbean in 2019. The celebration featured a star-studded guest list, including celebrities like Cardi B and DJ Khaled. The party reportedly included a performance by Mariah Carey and other luxurious elements, showcasing an extreme level of opulence. The display was not only a testament to Kraft's wealth, but also a reflection of how billionaires use personal celebrations to flaunt their financial status. Such displays often spark debate over the ethics of wealth in the context of broader social issues. Saudi billionaire Prince Al-Walid bin Talal is known for his grandiose lifestyle, and his 27th birthday party was no exception. Held in the opulent surroundings of his Riyadh palace, the event featured performances by international artists, lavish decorations, and a guest list that included royalty and influential figures from around the globe. The sheer scale of the celebration, including a massive fireworks display and gourmet catering, highlighted the prince's immense wealth and created a spectacle of excess that was both awe-inspiring and controversial. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, is another example of a billionaire whose parties often attract attention for their extravagance. In 2020, Musk hosted a private event to celebrate the launch of Tesla's new model, which included a high-profile guest list and an impressive array of decorations and entertainment. The event's display of wealth was notable for its focus on technological innovation and luxury, reflecting Musk's brand and interests. Critics of the event highlighted how such displays can reinforce social divides and contribute to perceptions of elitism. The excessive display of wealth at billionaire parties often raises questions about social responsibility and the ethical implications of such ostentation. While these displays serve as a form of personal and social validation, they can also be seen as a reflection of broader societal issues, such as economic inequality and the concentration of wealth. The criticism often centers around the perceived disconnect between the lives of the ultra-wealthy and the experiences of average people, particularly in times of economic hardship or social unrest. Extravagant wastefulness. While opulence and extravagance are common in these circles, the sheer scale of waste can be jarring, especially when contrasted with broader societal issues. Excessive wastefulness at such events often manifests in several ways: lavish decorations that are used once and discarded, enormous quantities of food and drink that end up uneaten or wasted, and the use of resources in a manner that seems out of touch with broader environmental and social concerns. The ostentatious display of wealth can sometimes overshadow more pressing issues like sustainability and social responsibility, leading to criticism and backlash. Isha Ambani, daughter of Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani, had a wedding that became notorious for its extravagance. The event, held in December 2018, reportedly cost upwards of $100 million. The wedding included multiple days of celebrations, including a pre-wedding party in Italy, a grand ceremony in India, and an extravagant reception. While the scale of the celebration was impressive, it was also widely criticized for the enormous waste generated. The decorations, which included rare flowers flown in from around the world, were used for a few days before being discarded. The sheer volume of food and drink prepared for the guests, many of whom were flown in from different parts of the globe, also led to significant wastage. Although not exclusively a party, the Met Gala, an annual fundraising event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute, is often associated with extravagant displays of wealth and excess. Hosted by Anna Wintour and attended by numerous celebrities and billionaires, the event has faced criticism for its opulence. For instance, the 2019 gala, themed Camp Notes on Fashion, featured elaborate, often impractical costumes that were worn only once. The after-parties, also known for their luxury and indulgence, contribute to a perception of wastefulness, as the lavish decorations and excess food are typically discarded after a single night of use. The Super Bowl, a major sporting event in the United States, often sees high-profile parties thrown by billionaires and celebrities. The 2020 Super Bowl was notable for its extravagant parties despite the pandemic. While many events were scaled back or moved to virtual formats, some high-profile individuals still hosted lavish gatherings. These events featured high-end catering, excessive quantities of food and drink, and opulent decorations, contributing to substantial waste. The ostentatious displays at these parties, juxtaposed against the backdrop of global health crises and economic uncertainty, sparked debates about the appropriateness of such excess. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, is known for his significant wealth and occasional displays of extravagance. Musk's private events, particularly those celebrating major milestones or achievements, often involve substantial expenditures. Reports suggest that these parties include lavish setups and considerable amounts of food and drink, which are sometimes wasted. For instance, Musk's high-profile SpaceX launches and Tesla events have been noted for their extravagant parties, where the emphasis on grandeur and opulence can lead to significant waste. The wastefulness associated with these events is not merely about excess, it also reflects broader ethical concerns. The contrast between the opulence of such parties and the environmental and social challenges facing many people highlights issues of inequality and sustainability. For example, the waste generated by these events, whether in the form of discarded decorations, leftover food, or excessive energy use, can be seen as a stark reminder of the disparities between the wealthy and the less fortunate. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.